A man from West Virginia got arrested for a case from 2020 that had gone cold. On November 15, 2020, police officers from Hampshire County got a phone call. Someone said that Christy Plumbley might be missing from a house on Buckskin Drive in Rio, West Virginia. When police started looking into where Christy went, they found out that 40-year-old Daniel Lumright Jr. from Romney was the last person who saw her. The police talked to Wright and he told them he had seen Christy about a month before on the evening of October 16th. He said someone he didn't know dropped her off at the house on Buckskin Drive. He said she hung out there for a little bit, but then she left by walking after they had a fight with words. They were dating on and off before she went missing. The police said they had gotten lots of calls to that house before for fights between Wright and Christy. During those fights, Christy was the one who started them. On November 19th, 4 days after someone reported she was missing, the police met with the guy who owned the property on Buckskin Drive. He said that Wright had been renting the place for 7 years, but he was behind on paying rent by several months and hadn't been living there for several weeks. The owner told the police that he went to the house on October 16th after he heard that Christy was there. He asked her to leave as soon as she could because of all the fights that happened before. The owner said that talking to her wasn't mean or angry, and she gave Wright's young son a hug before she left. The owner also said that later that same night, he got messages from Wright and Wright's son asking him to come back to the house, but he couldn't answer them because his phone didn't have service. The police said that Wright's girlfriend came later and picked them up. The next morning, the owner called Wright back and asked if Christy was still at the house. Wright told the owner that she had walked away with some of her stuff and that she wasn't at the house anymore. The owner told the police later that what Wright said worried him and that the whole talk with Wright seemed kind of weird. After talking to the owner, police searched the property and the areas around it, but they didn't find anything that seemed suspicious. The police then talked to Wright's girlfriend. She told them that on the night of October 16th, she came to the house to drop off Wright's son after a birthday party. She said that when she got there, she could hear Christy inside the house yelling and saying bad words, but she couldn't tell what Christy was saying. The girlfriend told the police that she got a phone call from Wright a few hours later. He asked her to pick him and his son up and take them to her house. She said that Wright had told her Christy had walked down the road with a bag of her stuff. On November 20th, the police met with Wright to get another statement about Christy going missing. Wright met with the police at his girlfriend's house on Buffalo Hollow Road. He said he had been living there since the night Christy disappeared. Wright told the police that after someone he didn't know dropped Christy off at his house, they messed around before they got into a fight with words. After that, Wright said she packed her stuff into a dog blanket and walked down the road. He said that she often hitchhiked to get places. Later that same day, police did a special interview with Wright's son. When they asked him about Christy, he said that he never really liked her. He said she was mean to him and his dog. He said that on the night she disappeared, his dad and Christy were fighting and he was told to go to his room. He said that after that, it got quiet and he heard a door open. He said he hasn't seen Christy since then. On December 9th, the police talked to Christy's son. He said that it's not like his mother to not call anyone. He said he was worried about her. He said that she often hitchhiked and that she might have a problem with drugs. Other people in her family said similar things. Not much new stuff happened in the case until 2 years later. On December 18, 2022, the police found out that someone had found bones under the Clifford Hollow Bridge in Hardy County. The bones looked like they came from a woman. The police said that these bones were found about 12 miles away from where Christy was last seen. At that time, Hardy County didn't have any missing women, but Hampshire County only had one missing woman, which was Christy. A few days later, the police asked for Christy's dental records so they could compare them with the bones that were found. The bones were sent to the West Virginia Medical Examiner's Office. On March 8, 2023, the police called the West Virginia Medical Examiner's Office to ask about what they found out. The office told the police that the bones had been sent to the anthropology section at the University of Tennessee. They wanted to figure out if the person was male or female, what race they were, and how they died. The bones would come back to the office when they finished checking everything. On June 8, 2023, the police were told that the bones should come back to West Virginia by the end of July 2023. They said they would call if there were any updates. On May 8, 2024, the police got a call from the medical examiner's office. They said the bones were going to come back any day and that they should collect DNA swabs from Christy's real family. The police later met with her mother, brother, and daughter to get DNA swabs. The swabs were put into evidence and sent to the medical examiner's lab. On January 14, 2025, the police got a report from Marshall University's Forensic Science Center. It officially said that Christie matched the bones that were found more than 2 years before. 2 days later, on January 16th, the police got special warrants for Hampshire and Hardy counties and sent them to Google. These warrants let police get a record of which cell phones were in a certain area on a certain date. The information from those warrants came back the next day. On March 6th, an investigation after death about Christie's body showed that how she died was unknown, but it said that she had multiple injuries from being hit hard that helped cause her death. On December 23, 2025, police were called to the Buffalo Hollow Roadhouse because people said they heard arguing and a gunshot. When the officers got there, they talked to Daniel Wright, his ex-girlfriend who is now his wife, and his uncle. While the police were investigating, the uncle told an officer that Wright had told him that he had killed Christie. The uncle said that about a month before, Wright told him that he strangled her, wrapped her in a blanket, and called his wife to come get him and his son. Wright told his uncle that he and his wife got rid of Christie by throwing her from a bridge in a wooded area, but he wasn't sure exactly where. Wright was arrested right then for putting people in danger. On December 26, the police talked to Wright's uncle, who told more details about what Wright told him. According to Wright's uncle, the night that Christie disappeared, she told Wright that she would burn the house down with him and his son inside it. After hearing that, Wright just lost control. After talking to the uncle, the police then talked to Wright's wife. They told her that she wasn't arrested and could leave whenever she wanted. The police told her what Wright's uncle had said about getting rid of the body. At first, she said she didn't do anything. A few minutes later, Wright's wife started telling them what happened that night. She said that after coming back to pick up Wright and his son, she saw Christie laying in the living room area in a pool of blood with her throat cut while Wright's son was playing a video game in the same room. Wright's wife said that she and Wright took the son to her house on Buckskin Drive and dropped him off before going back to where the crime happened. She told the police that they wrapped the body in a blanket, put her in the trunk of her car, and drove to Clifford Hollow Bridge where they threw her body off. Wright told his wife that Christie hit his son and that he was tired of it. He said that when she supposedly told Wright that she was going to burn the house down with him and his son in it, he lost control and started to strangle her, but she wouldn't stop breathing. Wright then told his wife that he had grabbed a knife and cut her throat, which killed her. Wright's wife then told the police that she didn't want to go to jail. The police told her that she was free to go, which she did but didn't want to. The police then went to the PTOIC Highlands Regional Jail to talk to Wright. He agreed to talk to them. They told him that his uncle had said he killed Christie. He said it wasn't true, but once the police said his wife had told a similar story, he told the story of that night. Wright said that Christie came to his house and started to fight him. Then she pulled out a knife and started to stab him. He said that he put her in a chokehold and that she stabbed him in the arms many times. He said that he doesn't remember cutting her throat. Police officers said they didn't see any scars or wounds that looked like stab wounds on Wright's arms. Wright has been charged. He is being kept in the PTOAC Highlands Regional Jail with no bond. A 31-year-old woman from Florida's case stayed a mystery for almost 2 decades before police tried again and figured things out. On the evening of March 12, 2005, at around 7:30 p.m., police officers from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office got a call. Someone said there was a woman who wasn't responding behind an apartment building at 1,361,321st Street North in Tampa. When they got there, they found 31-year-old Tammy Fickey dead at the scene. The medical examiner said later that she died from being hit really hard on the head, body, and chest. When they first started investigating, they figured out that the crime happened inside a nearby apartment, not outside where her body was found. Early reports said that a lot of force had been used, which meant it was a violent attack. Even though they found a person who might have done it at the time, the police didn't have enough proof to arrest them. The case went cold really fast. In November 2022, almost 17 years later, detectives who work on cold cases opened the investigation again. The detectives talked to both old witnesses and new witnesses and sent more evidence to be tested. While investigating again, the detectives focused on a suspect they knew about before. His name was 54-year-old Arthur Heavy Dose. In December 2022, the police talked to Dose at RMC Correctional Facility where he was locked up for other drug charges. During that talk, Dose said things that didn't match up. He also told them specific details about the crime that the police thought only the person who did it would know. The detectives looked at this information along with what witnesses said and old evidence. They decided it was enough to say he was the one who killed Tammy. Sadly, Doe died of natural causes on June 17, 2024, before any official charges could be made in Tammy's case. Because the person they suspected died before he could go to trial, the sheriff's office officially closed the case at the end of 2025. Tammy's family has been told. Sheriff Chad Chronister said that even though there won't be a trial, the police never forgot about Tammy and kept trying to look at the case again until they could give answers to her family. He said, "For 20 years, the name Tammy Fickey never left the minds of our investigators because time doesn't make our job to help victims any less important." He also said, "While the suspect dying stops us from holding him responsible like we do in every case, I am really proud of the hard work of our cold case unit. Their dedication made sure the truth was found and Tammy's family wasn't forgotten." Malquin Tyreek Hawkins, an unidentified man found dead in South Carolina, stayed a John Doe for years until one day DNA stepped in and changed everything. In February 2016, police in Horry County, South Carolina, found the body of a man they didn't know in a hotel swimming pool near North Myrtle Beach. He was found at the Ocean Creek Plantation Resort area. The man wasn't staying at the hotel and nobody found an empty car nearby. Even though he was wearing basketball shorts and other clothes and had personal things near him, he didn't have any ID on him. No missing person report ever matched who he looked like at the time. The Horry County Coroner's Office collected evidence at the scene and said the death was an accidental drowning, but the police never knew who he was. The young black man seemed to be in his mid-20s, but checking fingerprints and regular ways didn't identify him. For years, he stayed in the coroner's records as Horry County John Doe 2016. Details about the case were put into the National Missing and Unidentified Person. The case sat unsolved because he had no ID and no missing person report that matched. The police had very little to work with. How he got to the hotel pool and what happened in the hours before he died stayed a mystery. After 7 years went by, around 2023, the coroner's office worked together with ORAM. They gave a DNA profile from the dead man's body to create investigative leads using advanced DNA testing. Through that process, people who study family trees were able to connect DNA matches to faraway relatives. In October 2025, more investigation and comparing with a family DNA sample led to a positive identification of the man who was. Someone has been arrested 8 years after a mother of 3 was found shot dead in her Louisiana home. On October 24, 2017, around midnight, officers went to the house of 40-year-old Donna Arsenault in Franklin, Louisiana. 2 of her friends got worried about her after they couldn't reach her, so they decided to check on her. She was found dead with a gunshot wound to her chest. The sheriff's office called the incident an unclassified shooting death at the time. An autopsy said that she was killed, but they didn't share this with everyone right away, which made people think that she might have hurt herself. According to someone who loved her, the single mother of 3 seemed happy while she was at a local fair 2 days before she was found. Donna's sister, Sherry Piggott, said, "I was like, there is no way she did that. She wouldn't have left her daughter. She loved her daughter. She loved her children. We never believed that. We never thought that from the beginning." The family asked for the case to be given to state police. Then Sheriff Randy Country Seal said that the state might notice something the local police might have missed. Sherry said her late sister ran a spa out of her home. She remembered her as friendly and adventurous. The case went cold eventually. Freeze Frame, an 8-episode podcast that came out 7 years later in 2024, looks really deep at Donna's life, the possible suspects, and why the case went cold. It was started by Tucker Simmons, who did it for his Aunt Donna. Washington Parish Sheriff Jason Smith said, "I wouldn't even know about this case if it wasn't for the podcast. The podcast made people interested, and when I started looking at it, I thought, we can solve this. This can be done." The next year, on December 23, 2025, the police announced that they had arrested a local man for killing her. Troy Scott Jordan has been put into jail on a charge of second-degree murder. Sheriff Smith said that the officers waited for Jordan to finish his work shift at a local hospital before arresting him. Sheriff Smith said that there wasn't any new evidence that led to Jordan's arrest. He said that his police officers built their case partly by getting rid of all other possible theories and suspects and looking again at Jordan's old interviews with the sheriff's office. They found things he said that didn't match up. Smith said that Donna and Jordan were in a relationship together, an on and off romantic relationship. Some of Donna's family members say they had their suspicions about Jordan for a long time. The podcast tells how he and Donna got romantically involved after he moved next to her home. It tells how he later bought her house when she had money trouble. Their relationship got bad after that, and Donna told other people that she was planning to get away from Jordan and had bad information about him. The podcast says Jordan has said he's not guilty and is strongly saying he's innocent. The arrest of Jordan is a big development in the ongoing effort to make sure someone is held responsible for this crime. Jordan's lawyer Roy Burns successfully argued at a hearing for Jordan's bond to be lowered from $2 million to $500,000. He was able to post bond and was let out after spending weeks in jail. He has to wear an ankle monitor and stay at home unless he's going to work, his lawyer's office, or church. Burns said he is not happy about being arrested and having to hire a lawyer and defend his case, but he is going to see it through to the end. He didn't do it. The investigation is still going and the detectives are still looking for information. More arrests are possible. On the 22nd anniversary of a Christmas cold case, the detectives arrested someone. Jerry Don Humphrey, a 40-year-old Texas businessman, was found shot dead in his own bedroom on December 22, 2003, just 3 days before Christmas. He lived in Stafford, Texas, with his wife of 10 years, Jody Johnston Humphrey, and their 2 young daughters. On that afternoon, his father-in-law, John Dick Gray, who lived across the street, went to wake him up for work and found him not responding in bed. Emergency workers said he was dead at the scene. The autopsy showed 3 gunshot wounds to the head. There were no signs of someone breaking in and nothing was missing from the home, which made the crime really confusing. From the start, the investigation didn't give them many good leads. There were no witnesses or good evidence like fingerprints or DNA they could use. Because there weren't any obvious suspects or clues, the case went cold soon and stayed unsolved for many years. Jerry ran a car repossession business with his wife. Over the years, family members, especially Jerry's sister, Rita Humphrey, kept people thinking about the case, hoping it could be solved one day. After 16 years went by, on March 24, 2020, Stafford police arrested Angel Amsa Jr., a former worker at Jerry's business, for supposedly being involved in the case. Azo had been fired by Jerry and later got in trouble for other crimes. The police kept investigating, and the next year in 2021, the case got attention again when the true crime TV show Cold Justice showed the case. The show's team, including a lawyer and an investigator, worked with local police to look at evidence again, talked to possible witnesses, and looked at reasons that hadn't been looked at before. During that review, several things about the case stood out. Jerry worked at night and was sleeping during the day when the crime happened. The police found claims of a bad marriage, supposed abuse at home, and possible money reasons. John, who said he first thought that Jerry's home might have been robbed, told a detective that while he got along well with Jerry, his son-in-law was really mean to his daughter. He explained that Jerry supposedly physically hurt her. The detective talked to a family friend who said a few days before Jerry was killed, John told him he had beaten her up again. She also told him that the only way out of the marriage was in a body bag and that Jerry had told her that many times. The detective also talked to Amsqua's ex-girlfriend, who said that he and Jod were close. On December 22, 2025, 22 years to the day after the crime, the police arrested Jerry's wife, Jody Johnston, and charged her with capital murder for his death. According to an arrest document, the police believe Johnston might have arranged to have her husband killed in 2003. Supposedly, she was motivated, at least partly, by getting money from life insurance and other things. Johnston told the police that she and her husband didn't have any life insurance policies other than one for $100,000 they had got to secure a business loan. But then the detective found 4 policies listing her as the person who gets the money totaling almost $400,000. The document says that Johnston might have hired Amsqua or another person to kill her husband in exchange for money. Johnston was ordered to be held on a $750,000 bond. It's unclear if she has gotten a lawyer who can speak for her. She is supposed to appear in court on February 2, 2026, has said he's not guilty, and his trial for Jerry's case is supposed to start on April 7, 2026.